Let's rewind for a second. Before the royal tiaras, the palace drama, and the Netflix documentaries that made the world binge like never before, Meghan Markle was just another Hollywood actress trying to survive the industry. But wait, she wasn't just any actress. She was Rachel Zane on Suits, the paralegal with brains, beauty, and sass. The woman who could walk into a courtroom in pencil skirts that screamed power while tossing one-liners sharp enough to cut glass. For Meghan, Suits wasn't just a role. It was her it girl moment, her big break. The origin story she wanted the world to remember. Hardworking, ambitious, stylish, and destined for greatness. But here's the twist. That memory is being rewritten. And the new version, it's not the glamorous rom-com narrative Meghan tried to sell. It's a storm of whispers, a shadowy version of events that looks a whole lot like Mean Girls, Legal Edition. Enter Lady Colin Campbell, the aristocratic hurricane in pearls, famous for spilling tea hotter than molten lava. This time, she isn't dissecting the royal family. No, she's digging into Meghan's pre-royal Hollywood days. And what she claims to have unearthed is making jaws drop across the internet. The Mean Girl allegations. According to Lady C, and let's remember this woman doesn't breathe without a few sources backing her up, Meghan allegedly ruled the Suits set like a one-woman monarchy. Forget being the grateful actress thrilled to land a big break. Crew members whispered something very different. They didn't see a rising star filled with humility. They saw a woman who walked in like she owned the place and made damn sure everyone else knew it. Not difficult, not diva, but mean girl. That exact phrase, repeated again and again by more than one cast and crew member, became the new buzzword. On camera, Meghan was magnetic. Off camera, sources claimed the charm switched off like a light. 1 second, dazzling smiles. The next, a cold stare that could freeze an entire set. According to insiders, she'd size you up in 5 seconds flat and decide whether you were in her world or invisible. And if you landed in the wrong category, good luck. Eye contact? Non-existent. Small talk? Forget it. Meghan's carefully built image versus the rumors now. Here's where it gets messy. Meghan's entire brand post-royalty has been built on one thing. I was misunderstood. I was mistreated. I rose above the toxic noise. She sold the narrative of being the underdog who fought back against cruelty. But Lady C's claims flip that script upside down. What if Meghan wasn't the victim of toxic environments? What if she was the toxic storm herself, long before the palace drama even began? Think about it. One crew member told Lady C that Meghan could make a room go ice cold without saying a word. Another joked you could set your watch by her silent treatments. And it gets juicier. Apparently, Meghan formed a little inner circle on set. And if you weren't in it, you were out in the cold. Smiles and inside jokes for the chosen few. Total exclusion for everyone else. Sound familiar? It's classic high school cafeteria politics, but dressed up in Hollywood glamour. The Netflix effect. Here's the kicker. Suits is back in the spotlight. Thanks to Netflix and Peacock, it's suddenly the binge-watch obsession of millions all over again. But this time, viewers aren't just enjoying the sharp legal drama. They're watching with Lady C's allegations echoing in their minds. Every smirk, every sass-filled line, every icy glare. Suddenly, Rachel Zane doesn't just look like a character. She looks like Meghan herself, cloaked in a new, uncomfortable light. And Meghan's team? Full crisis mode. PR insiders whisper it's all hands on deck. Because Lady C isn't just some random gossip blogger. She's well connected, she's respected in scandal circles, and, most dangerously, people listen to her. Meghan has worked hard to craft a brand of kindness, resilience, and empowerment. But if the stories from her Suits days keep leaking out, that carefully built foundation starts to crack. And in Hollywood, cracks don't just ruin reputations, they collapse careers. The deadly silence behind the glossy magazine profiles and sunny California interviews, Meghan's PR team is panicking. But here's the problem, the silence. If Meghan was really the glowing angel she claims to have been on set, now would be the time for her former castmates to step forward and say, she was wonderful, always kind, always supportive. But guess what? Crickets. No one's defending her. Not one co-star, not one director, not even a costume designer with a friendly anecdote. Instead, what we're seeing is the kind of silence that screams louder than any public statement ever could. And the internet? Oh, it's eating this alive. Fan accounts are digging up old interviews, analyzing awkward pauses, suspicious side-eyes, and snarky jokes like they're FBI agents dissecting evidence. Remember that 2014 panel where a co-star joked about Meghan always getting her way? Back then, it was just a laugh. Today, it looks like a breadcrumb in a much bigger, darker trail. Just when you think the gossip can't get any spicier, it does. Because Lady C didn't stop with whispers about cold shoulders and cliquey behavior. No, she came prepared with stories so specific they made the internet explode. The chair story. You're in the wrong seat, darling. Picture this. Between takes on the suit set, an extra, just an ordinary background actor, makes the fatal mistake of sitting in Meghan's designated chair. Now, most stars would just laugh it off, maybe tease the newbie, maybe even offer to share. But Meghan, allegedly, she leaned in with that trademark smile that didn't quite reach her eyes and said, "I think you're in the wrong seat, darling." And just like that, the chair was gone, removed, banished. When that story hit the internet, it didn't just go viral, it detonated. Within hours, memes started flying. Chairgate, Throne Wars. TikTok clips of Rachel Zane were overlaid with captions like, "Not in my seat, honey." Why did it hit so hard? Because it was so petty, so specific, too specific to dismiss. In Hollywood, image is everything, and once people start associating you with diva behavior, even the tiniest stories become damning. The silent freeze-outs. Then came the stories about Meghan's infamous silent treatments. Crew members joked you could tell exactly what time it was on set based on whether Meghan was talking to people or freezing them out. One insider described the vibe as walking on eggshells. If Meghan was upset, everyone felt it. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Conversations stopped, and people suddenly found excuses to avoid her line of sight. This wasn't leadership, this wasn't confidence. This was, as one source put it, manipulation through mood. Alleged script power plays. But the real bombshell? Lady C dropped a chilling anecdote that had fans clutching their pearls. According to her sources, Meghan once requested a co-star's lines be rewritten, all because the director praised them too much during rehearsal. And when the episode aired, that co-star's scene had been trimmed down. The juicy lines? Gone. Coincidence? Maybe. But when you stack it on top of the other whispers, it starts to look like a pattern. A woman so allergic to sharing the spotlight that even a fellow actor's praise felt like a threat. And it didn't stop there. Lady C claimed Meghan quietly went to producers about a guest star who was disrupting her rhythm. Translation? They were getting a little too popular for her liking. Producers brushed it off. The actor stayed. But weeks later, their scenes were mysteriously cut down, their punchlines stripped, their names slid further down the call sheet. Calculated sabotage? Or just coincidence? Either way, the damage was done, because diva behavior is forgivable. Calculated career sabotage? That's a whole different scandal. The internet pounces. The internet, oh, it pounced like sharks smelling blood in the water. Meme accounts went wild. Clips of Rachel Zane suddenly popped up with sarcastic captions like, "Queen of Compassion," "Lighting Check Commander," "Chairgate 2013." Threads on X, formerly Twitter, dissected old cast interviews like forensic evidence. Every awkward laugh, every side glance, every tight smile, all repackaged into viral content feeding a single narrative. Meghan wasn't the sweetheart she wanted the world to believe. And Meghan's team? They scrambled. Glossy puff pieces suddenly appeared, filled with glowing quotes from unnamed friends. Stories about how she baked cookies for the crew, wrote thank you notes, and spread kindness everywhere she went. But here's the thing. It all felt too curated, like someone desperately trying to patch bullet holes with glitter. People weren't unwilling to believe Meghan could be kind. They just weren't sure what was real anymore. The deadly quote. And then Lady C twisted the knife with one aristocratic smile. She plays the victim so convincingly, Lady C purred on TV. Because she's had so much practice. Boom. That line spread like wildfire. It became the headline, the meme caption, the scandal's tagline. Reaction videos ran with it. Twitter bios quoted it. It was everywhere. Suddenly, Meghan wasn't just fighting rumors, she was fighting a brand new identity, not the underdog who survived toxicity, but the mean girl who weaponized victimhood. Where are the defenders? Here's what makes it worse. The deafening silence from her suit's co-stars. Not one of them has come forward with a glowing defense. Not a quick Instagram story, not a friendly tweet, not even a polite, "She was professional and great to work with." Nothing. Instead, radio silence. Some cast members post vacation photos, others promote new projects. But when it comes to Meghan, not a word. And in Hollywood, silence isn't neutral, it's a statement. It whispers, "We don't want to get involved." And worse, maybe there's truth to it. Minor crew members started quietly liking tweets critical of Meghan. Nothing explicit, no statements, just digital nods in the dark. But in today's world, a like is loud. Bloggers compiled those likes into timelines. TikTok creators turned them into dramatic exposés. Reddit threads grew overnight, connecting dots that maybe weren't even there, but felt juicy enough to share. This wasn't one big bombshell. It was death by 1,000 cuts. A slow drip of little moments reshaped into something darker. Hollywood's harsh reality. Here's the brutal truth. Meghan may never face a full-on cancellation. But in Hollywood, labels stick like glue, and Lady C had given her one of the deadliest labels of all, Mean Girl. Those two little words are poison. They reduce every smile to a smirk, every act of confidence to arrogance, every gesture of kindness to performance. Once the public sees you through that lens, it's almost impossible to scrub clean. And right now, those whispers aren't kind. They're cold, they're sharp, they're dangerous. Meghan may carry titles, money, and fame, but the one label she never wanted, the one Lady C handed her with a smirk, may be the hardest to shake. Mean girl. And in the age of receipts, viral memes, and digital echoes, that label might just stick forever. Might just